अब पंकज जी ने कहा कि शिवराज जी बिल्कुल खुश है। अब शिवराज जी इतने खुश तो नहीं लग रहे, और ये एक ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी भी है कि कौन खुश होगा अपनी कुर्सी छोड़ के आफ्टर एन इलेक्शन दैट एवरीबॉडी थॉट यू वर गोइंग टू लूज बट यू विन। अनुराग, हाउ डू यू सी इट?
Well, Barkha, thank you for having me on the show. Barkha, I would say, look, on the exit poll, if you remember, I had mentioned to you clearly that, the narrative and the style of functioning of Shivraj Singh Chauhan is a very emotional pitch. Always, 18 years, if you see his history in Madhya Pradesh, his pitch has always been an emotional pitch, pro-women pitch, pro-poor and pro-marginalized pitch. And he portrays himself as coming from one amongst them. So I think that is very clear. And also, let's understand, he's hurt. Nobody can say what he has told in his press conference. It's very clear that he's hurt. But, understand, 18 years is not a small time. And let's also understand that BJP in this particular election did not announce the phase for the chief minister either in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan or Chhattisgarh. They went on the Kamal symbol. Kamal ko bhi ab baaju rakh do. I'll be very honest in telling you that it was brand Modi that was, taken into people, and if people have voted in such a landslide, let's not say Ladli Behna aa gaya to ekdam se palat gaya. Aisa nahi hua. It had an impact, but 160 plus seats cannot be because of one Ladli Behna Yojana. Let's understand it is brand Modi at play 6 months before 2024 election, and let's give a very, very fair, let's be very fair to BJP in this, Barkha, see what is happening, in this recent times, what I've seen is the chief ministers, when they become too powerful, they make the entire power center very centric to the state. And that leads to policy paralysis of the state. If you see Prime Minister Modi's style of functioning, he doesn't believe in the fact that he should approach a chief minister as a protocol, then reach an MLA and then a district magistrate to reach out to the youth of any district, So the PM office calls the DM, says PM wants to speak to 10 of the best youth or maybe marginalized youth who have benefited from certain scheme. He want to communicate. So PM believes in that quick communication. So what happens is when you have two powerful chief ministers, and traditionally they've always been hindrance to the center of the prime minister in his style of functioning. And also, let's be very honest, I would really give it a good idea that you have, somebody fresh at the helm of the chief minister. Chief minister caretaker of the cabinet and not the Messiah or not the Bhagwan of the state. I think the ministers should independently discharge the duties of their own ministries or of their own portfolios, and that brings in more efficiency in the governance. And I think this is definitely a very bold attempt.
So can I ask you something?
नहीं बदले, अब बदल दिए तो बोलते हैं बदल दिए.
नहीं, मुझे आपसे एक सवाल है. मुझे एक सवाल है. You said forget Kamal, it's Modi ji. Modi is clearly, there is a paradox here. The message in the chief minister's choice is no individual will be bigger than the Sangathan. But Modi ji is bigger than the Sangathan. There is a contradiction here.
No, because Barkha, I'm not from the BJP, so I'm giving an analytical view. BJP will say it is Sangathan, BJP will say like this, but it doesn't happen neither in BJP nor Congress. It comes from the top office. When a lot of BJP spokesperson also, I'll tell you a very interesting thing. If you actually speak to a lot of BJP spokesperson, sometimes they will use this word, ala command, the high command, or hamare senior, hamara jo Delhi will take karega. Delhi kya hai? We know very, very well Delhi kya hai. Of course, the Prime Minister's opinion has its own strength. No matter what MLA, of course, let's also be very honest. If you do a poll and go to a set of MLAs, even in Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh, and say Prime Minister Modi ki ye raay hai, aur aap apni raay bataye, can you tell me that will they differ from the raay of the Prime Minister? That's the kind of respect the party has. You cannot say that it's wrong. It is their choice and it is their prerogative to express their opinion. And Barkha, let's be also honest. When Telangana Chief Minister Mr. Revant Reddy was appointed, a lot of people said he has no administrative experience. He's never been a minister in the past. He's been an MP, lost 2018 election as an MLA. He's been a two-time MLA in the past, but of course in the previous state and while Andhra Pradesh. But he had no administrative any good stint at the secretariat or anything like that. So he became a chief minister out of nowhere. But we all respected that because that's the decision of the party. End of the day, they were also talk about Mallu, Bhatti Vikramarka Mallu, he's coming from backward class, will also be in the race. But the party already made a decision to go ahead with it. And then they portrayed that it's a decision of the MLAs. So, let's not get into this story, but let's be honest to BJP that Prime Minister Modi or the BJP's ala command has done a very bold step. And whether this gets through, it's validated or not, will, 5 months down the line, we have Lok Sabha elections, and it will be vindicated. If people vote for a thumping majority, then the debate ends there. If people don't vote, they will take a lesson. But the fact is, at least they've given opportunity to new faces. They have told time and again, look at this, Barkha, a young politician or a young aspiring politician like me or anyone else, if they want to choose between a BJP, Congress, or an NCP, or a BSP or any party, what would we look like that? They will say, okay, the party that says, there can be an opportunity for anyone like me to become something, I would definitely like to join that party. And if some other party is not exhibiting this kind of an action, it is for them to introspect. But if BJP has done away with leaders like Vasundhara and Shivraj, I think they're the tallest, leaders that we have today. And I think they're really putting up right there that,
Okay, I keep wanting to go to Neerja, but something keeps happening to her connection. Ikram, do you want to come in just briefly? Neerja, we've been trying to talk to you, but you haven't stabilized your shot. Can you hear me?
Now I think it should work, yeah.
Okay, go ahead with your comments before I'll keep my questions short. Just go ahead with your comments on the choice of chief ministers before we lose you again. Neerja.
Look, many people expected that there'll be a Khattar type of people who will just be picked out of the, the hat. And they will not be known faces, because Modi-Shah duo would now like to create new leadership in these states, and they are confident that in the 2024 elections, Modi magic will work, because it is a fact. If there is an issue of the 2024 election, it is Narendra Modi. It is a bit reminiscent of 1971 elections, when Indira Gandhi was asked the question by a foreign journalist, what is the issue in this election? And she said, I am the issue. So Narendra Modi is going to be the issue. His popularity and what he stands for, they feel is going to work, and they can take the risk of removing these state satraps who have been known in these states and are experienced leaders. And therefore the three names. Now the interesting phenomenon is Mamaji Shivraj Chauhan, 4 times chief minister, coming back to power, not just scraping through, but a sweep in Madhya Pradesh, which was really not expected. And some of the programs that you've talked about, Ladli Behna Yojana and a women's constituency, have obviously worked. Now, election victories are not because of one program. It's a whole combination of factors. So certainly Chauhan's acceptability, Modi magic, all of it has worked. Kamal Nath did not click to the extent to which people expected. There may have been inner rumblings in the Congress, which also created problems, and so on. But it is amazing, this phenomenon called Shivraj Chauhan, and his emotional pictures that you showed, that I will not go to Delhi. I mean, at the end of his career, he has taken a stand. Now, will this put off his supporters even marginally in the 24 elections? And is that a risk that the High Command of the BJP is prepared to take? It obviously is prepared to take it.
I think that's a very important point that you make, that Shivraj Singh Chauhan has taken a stand. And I want to ask Pankaj about that. Karthike, quickly, I want to play out a clip from Madhya Pradesh. Go ahead, Karthike Batra.
Barkha, this whole idea that Madhya Pradesh, the mandate was just for the PM or the Lotus is just not correct. I have the data for you from Axis. 24% people voted for the BJP because they benefited from state schemes. 16% voted for the CM. 7% voted for the Prime Minister. That's what I'm saying. What this whole idea that the vote was for the Prime Minister or the Kamal leadership was probably true in Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, but MP is a different case. And which is why you see the margin that you see, 8 percentage points between the Congress and the BJP. Compare that with Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, it's 2 to 4 percentage points there. So I think it's a very convenient thing to say that, MP was all about the Prime Minister. It wasn't just the Prime Minister. In fact, the numbers that I've given you shows, if at all, that the vote was more for the CM than on the PM space. So I think that is a factual sort of thing that we need to be very clear about when we sort of analyze these developments.
So you've made a big statement. You've said that the numbers show that the vote was more for the CM than the PM.
In Madhya Pradesh.
And right. I want to ask Pankaj ji about that in a moment. But there are certainly voters who are saying that. and they're saying it on record. And Nirja makes the point that Shivraj, at the end of his career, with nothing left to lose, has taken a stand. Here's what some of the women voters had to say about it as they wept while Mamaji was being replaced. Take a look.
आप सबके चाहते हो और बहन की हर मध्य प्रदेश में एक बैठ के चाहते हो आप। हम आपको नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
मैं भी कहाँ जा रहा हूँ, मैं भी नहीं छोड़ूंगा।
आपको नहीं
छोड़ने का
वो वाली बात नहीं है, लेकिन बात जी है कि आपने इतनी मेहनत की और हमने आपके लिए, बहनों ने आपको चुना है, आपको वोट दिया था भैया मध्य प्रदेश।
Nirja, before I come to Pankaj ji of the BJP, they say in the end, हमने आपको चुना था, हमने आपको वोट दिया था. They're saying to Mama ji.
Yes, obviously this is going to be a factor. This is a factor they must have taken into account when they made their decision. And this shows, that, it is a risk they will take, that there may be some people, particularly women, who may be unhappy, but given Modi leading the campaign in 24, that this will be a risk they can take, because this shows that they have a plan for the next term in office. They have a very clear plan, and they want their own team in the states where they rule, and not those who have ruled in the past and they may think they have independent politics.
Right. So we have two strands of thought here, Pankaj ji. One is Kartiki arguing कि मध्य प्रदेश का चुनाव मोदी फैक्टर पे नहीं था. हो सकता है लोकसभा का हो मोदी फैक्टर पे, पर ये जो स्टेट चुनाव था ये सीएम
मैंने बोला मोदी से ज्यादा सीएम था, मोदी नहीं था ये नहीं बोला मैंने. There was the Modi factor, but the CM factor was probably the stronger factor between. I'm
saying the election was not won on the Modi factor.
We don't know who the swing voter. We just say that if you were to compare the two impacts, the CM impact was stronger than the PM's impact.
Chaliye, Pankaj ji, please go ahead. दूसरी तरफ नीरजा चौधरी कहती हैं the only factor now is Modi, but Shivraj Chauhan is upset. Yes.
Barkha ji, your camera was focusing Shivraj ji. I was just next to him. I was on his left side in the yesterday's entire press conference, and he was very happy. And he clearly stated कि मैं बहुत संतुष्ट हूँ और बहुत कृतज्ञ हूँ, मुझे बहुत कुछ दिया है भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने. And now onwards, I will do what the BJP will say to do me as worker. And I am the worker of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and which every worker is. And secondly, what was our slogan in Madhya Pradesh? MP ke man mein Modi, Modi ke man mein MP. We were very much focused on the policies and the schemes of the government of India. We were very much focusing the achievements of the Pradhan Mantri Modi ji. We were very much highlighting the achievements of the Modi ji, and he was the face. And no doubt we can say we were able to garner more than 8% vote than Congress by the image of the Narendra Modi. Secondly, you see the figures. Kartik is here. We won 163 seats. We were able to get more than 50% vote on 101 seats. That was our planning. What Amit Shah ji said when he came to Madhya Pradesh, he only said 51% vote and every booth of Madhya Pradesh in favor of BJP. That has to be the motto, that has to be the planning, that has to be the aim of the BJP worker. And talk about the policies and the schemes of the government of Modi and the government of Madhya Pradesh. So it was the Modi magic, it was the booth management, and of course the schemes like Laldi Bana, they have favored the BJP. But it was all Narendra Modi ji's and Amit Shah ji's planning, that is for sure. And nobody was expecting that the BJP will come back in the power. I was in your show a few months back when Yashwant ji was here. He was saying kaante ki takkar hai. But he was very clear. He said that Congress is bit aged. That's what I said. It is really good for BJP that in the last 20 years, Congress is unable to pass the mark of 1/3, which is the majority mark. So Shivraj ji very clearly said. And this Delhi issue, he said very clearly, कि भैया आप वो मेरा संदर्भ जानते हैं. What was the reference? When someone asked कि शिवराज जी बाकी सब दिल्ली में थे, आप दिल्ली नहीं गए. Then he said कि मैं दिल्ली नहीं जाने वाला. ना मैंने पहले अपने लिए कुछ मांगा ना आप मांगने वाला. That was his idea, and he said it very clearly. But you have taken 2-3 words के मैं दिल्ली नहीं जाऊंगा, मरना पसंद करूंगा. But the entire press conference was there to express his gratitude towards the leadership of the BJP.
See, Mamaji is a very senior politician. I've seen him for many years. वो तरीके से करेंगे सब कुछ, मैं मानती हूँ आपकी बात. लेकिन जिसको कहते हैं ना पंकज जी, reading between the lines, Neerja.
That's your job. That's your job to read between the lines.
I am trying to do my job. Let's get others to react.
I'm doing my job.
First Ikram, then Neerja, then Anurag, and then we'll come back to Karthik, and then we have to close. Ikram, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, like we are talking about here, it is totally their prerogative who they want as the chief minister. It's not our place to have any comment on that. But it is just the kind of hubris that the central leadership of BJP is exemplifying that we can talk about. Because when they were talking about Telangana, it's absolutely right. But whom were we talking about? There were 2 or 3 people in the Congress who were being discussed for the chief minister's position. A couple of senior leaders. Revant Reddy was heading the state unit. We did not pick up somebody at the bottom of the chain and made him the CM. Now, what BJP is doing now is that in every state, like we talk about Rajasthan, there were 5 or 6 names that everybody was talking about. In MP, there were 3 or 4 names when Mr. Tomar and Kailash Vijayvargiya were sent to fight elections. We were talking about them and Mamaji, that one of them will become. But what they have done is that somebody whom nobody had fancied had a chance of becoming the CM, that has been made. So there are 2 things here. One, जिसकी लाठी उसकी भैंस, कि मैं मोदी हूं, मैं जिसको बनाना चाहता मैं उसको बनाऊंगा. And second, send a shiver down the spine of your leaders, that everybody is basically on notice period. You don't know whether your position, your kursi is safe. You might be a cabinet minister, you might be told to go fight a state election, and then from a cabinet minister, 1 week down the line, you have resigned. Today, you are a simple MLA in a state assembly. You might, similarly, you were the chief minister of the state, leading the campaign, expecting to get, something for all the effort that you have put in. And what are you today? A simple MLA in a state. And politics is all about right. Everybody works for